invited to this NDLI event, in which we have invited Mr. Negi from CMIE. As you know, CMIE is Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, and it has a very large database consisting of both listed companies and non-listed companies. So, Mr. Negi will be giving a talk on CMIE as well as his CMIE's database, which is Progress, how to use it and how you can use it for your research projects. So it will be equally beneficial for students who are doing dissertation or research projects, as well as for faculty members who are doing PhD, enrolled in PhD, and also who are doing research work. So let me welcome Mr. Negi, and he will just soon start the presentation. Okay.
So, very good afternoon, first of all, to all of you. And thank you for coming and giving me your time. So, I understand because it's the Holy Weekend, most of you might be thinking about, if it would have been an off or you would have taken a break today. But believe me, the kind of thing we are going to discuss, it will be very, very, very relevant for all of you, all the management students who have joined. And why I am here today. So this session will give you an immense understanding about why such kind of resources will be very valuable for you in doing your projects. Or if you are looking forward to your career in corporate sector, how this kind of service will help you in getting much better understanding about the economy and businesses. Okay, and the kind of immense resource and the data which we are providing. So Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, it's one of the largest think tank in India, which tells you that how economy and business is being performing. Okay, so if for a BBA student, or I say that finance student, any of the management student, it will be very important for you to understand and tell that this is the current scenario, how the industry has been performing, how the companies are performing, how the economy has been performing. If you have certain knowledge to that, I'm not saying you should have a very good expertise in that area, but you should have a basic understanding that this thing is going into today's scenario in these particular areas. It will create a difference, and which will really help you in your job placement, in your better career opportunities. And that can give you an exposure that whether you should choose a career in this field and to which particular companies you can opt in, what kind of things which are prerequisite when you are joining a company, and they expect what kind of information that you should have a knowledge of. I'll discuss all those details, and I'll request if that can be closed for better visualization of this screen. These सर ये वाले our services are used by most of the educational institutions, and this also helps faculty members in the research work. And if you are looking forward to your career in the education academic field and planning for post graduation and again PhD, that could be a very important area where Progress database will be helping. It's not just confined, I would say, not just confined only for the educational institution. And we are serving most of the corporate houses, even big four companies like Deloitte, KPMG. These are our long-term subscribers who have been subscribing to CMI and using our services for 10, 20, 30 years. And if I talk about FMCG companies, they need certain kind of information. They monitor their competition. Even vendor management is one of the things. Even if I talk about, let's say, HDFC Bank, okay, or Axis Bank, how those companies are growing. And even if you analyze one particular company and do a short project, you will get immense knowledge of banking sector companies that will help you even in the interviews when you will be facing the it in the placement, you know, again. And that is where progress database, which gives 1 lakh plus companies information, that helps in understanding individual company and overall corporate sector performance. Okay, and we do have our flagship service, Economic Outlook, which gives you an understanding about overall picture of the Indian economy and different sectors. So let me give you a glimpse of both the services. So Economic Outlook, it's a service which gives you an overview on all the sectors of the economy. So if I'm saying how the energy sector is performing, how the corporate sector is performing, and what is CMI thinks that different sectors are going to perform, how they are going to perform in the upcoming years and quarters. So we do also project the economy, and and we tell that how the economy is been performing, how different sectors will perform in the upcoming quarters. And all this data is being categorized, all this information is being categorized under 4 of our major heads. Okay, so we provide the economy information relating to like GDP, inflation, money and banking progress in India, like public finance, which covers how the government is being performing, what is the revenue structure of the government, what is the cost structure of the government. You can get that kind of information. We do cover those who are from the IT background or interested in absolutely in any of that career where export and import is one of the major priority. I think external sector and would be very relevant for them. Foreign trade would be very relevant for them. That kind of information will really help them. And agriculture, energy, infrastructure, industries, such information are broadly covered under the platform. So there might be students who are from the marketing background. There will be from HR, there will be students from the finance. So irrespective of your background, there is a lot of information which you can consume and you can build your knowledge, you can upskill yourself, and that is where the platform will help you in giving all those information in the simplest form so that you can consume it. Clear? Do provide, we have a very unique way of capturing investments in India. So like you want to understand a company like Maruti Suzuki, and you are doing a short project, let's say Maruti Suzuki, you want to understand how this company is performing and how they see their business is growing in the upcoming years and quarters. So if the company is making any investment, they are setting up a project, let's say in Manesar, Gurgaon, and they are building a manufacturing plant which has a capacity of producing thousands of units. Now, that will help you in understanding in a similar fashion overall all those companies in India. We capture that kind of information, that where they have been spending, what amount they are spending, which state they are spending, whether it's a central government company, a state government company, it's a private company. That helps in understanding that how the investment, how the growth of India is happening, and how that investment will lead to the capacity creation, and then again the growth in different sectors will be highlighted by those data points and those companies' performance as well. So everything is a chain, and we see that if there is any gap in the statistical system, we bridge in that gap by providing our proprietary information. Like there is a body, Reserve Bank of India, RBI. It provides a lot of information. Okay. Now, what we have been doing, they provide consumer sentiment information, okay, the consumer confidence survey of RBI. Now, we have brought in our own survey, which is the largest survey in the world, and through that we calculate employment, unemployment information. Now, for those who are from the HR background, you would love to know, and you would ask me to show me certain information that in which sector, which cities, how the employment is happening. Okay, whether the trend shows you it's increasing or there is an unemployment fall, what is the labor participation rate that is increasing or falling. Even some of the students from the marketing background would be interested in knowing the consumer sentiment, how that is. So consumer sentiment is again socio-economy area is very good coverage we are having. So we provide consumer sentiment, population, employment, wages, tourism, education, health, crime, election. All these are the broad coverage area where CMI capture the information. We continuously write on all those areas, and then finally we tell that what data says, and we project it for upcoming 8 quarters and 5 years ahead. So you get all the bunch of solution again, and user can customize that whatever they need for their project work or enhancing their skills. That is at one platform you get it. Okay. So we cover market intelligence, we cover market news from all the news providing agencies, and this service is also being used smartly by the Times of India, Business Standard, and even the Economics Times as well. So this is the overall coverage of CMI database. Now focusing more on the progress, we'll closely monitor the corporate sector data and capital market, and then we'll move to the actual interface where all these data and information is and how you can do certain project using it. So may I know that how many students are interested in finance, or you are from their finance background? Okay, HR and IB, okay, and marketing. Great. So means marketing and I would say finance students are more who have joined today. So let me crunch some information and show you that. So this is the progress database, which is the largest platform in India on Indian companies. Okay, so you have known many other websites like where you get listed information how stock market has been performing. It has been especially designed for students and faculty members. If you are into research, this is where the the data, complete time series data will be there. Those projects, how students can utilize this platform and get those information. Let's have that understanding. I'll demonstrate the platform and will give you certain understanding of that. In case if any of the faculty member or students have certain query relating to that, I'll be happy to answer it. So it's the India's largest corporate sector database, which covered 1,07,000 companies, where all the listed companies from BSE, NSE, exchanges are covered under the platform. You can track the company by sectors, you can track the company by ownership, and even MSME companies, or I would say companies located in special location whose registered office. Let's say I'm looking only those companies which are registered in Haryana. Okay, I'm closely monitoring those unicorn companies, or I'm closely monitoring those companies, new age companies which are or e-marketplace companies like Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon. Such companies I want to work and I want to do a project on. So we cover all those listed companies, and we provide over 1 lakh unlisted companies the data which is not easily available in the public domain, not at all. So we have a tie-up with Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and we get that information, we standardize that so that you can get more meaningful information from the platform. So let's say if you want to track and compare a couple of companies, and I would like to show you certain reports relating to it. So I want to see, I'm just clearing a company, and let's say I want to find out a company with the name SDFC Bank, okay, which is very well known to all the participants today. And if I search that company under the platform, I want to see what kind of overall information which we do have. So for a beginner, like a student, I would love to see a company background which gives you 250-word write-up on a company telling that HDFC Bank is second rank in the banking sector as per the sales revenue in the year this month. How that company is profitable, how long that company is being profitable, it tells you more information. Like HDFC company is profitable for past 30 years, and what is their operating profit, and even whether it's a debt free or not. So that kind of information are just 250-word brief to help you understand that this is the overview on the company. But it's not just limited over there. Let's say you want to check if you have a background of finance, you would be more interested in looking into the data, what data exactly says that. So this is the graph which shows you how it has been performing in the stock market, okay, and what is their FII holdings and promoters holding. So if you see this yellow color graph, the FII holding significantly increased, and this is for the SDFC, which has been in the recently for the period 2024, and every quarter this data, it is from the every quarter, and the stock market is from the daily information, how the chart has been plotted over here. And if you scroll it, it tells you the latest data, that is today's market will be closed at 3:30. You'll get the information just after that relating to the stock market. But for yesterday's 11th of March, it tells you what is the return of the company, what is earning per share, price to earning, closing price, even how quarter on quarter the company has been growing. What is the growth in terms of revenue? It says 71%, 62%, 73%, 44%, and 7% is the growth. Okay, you want to have a more understanding about their profitability, you have that information, profit after tax, and it is how the percentage shows you the company has been growing. So now quarterly progress of the companies, annual progress of the companies, we monitor that, we provide you that information, and you would be interested, let's say I want to see a company, if we compare it with its peers, how that company is performing as per the industry benchmark which has been set. So we can see few more reports which will give you that kind of understanding, like executive summary report. And now this executive summary report gives you a peer comparison report over here. Now this peer comparison report, now SDFC company, you want to compare it with the other banks which are there in the industry. So there is Axis Bank, okay, there is Bank of Baroda, there is all these banks, how these banks have been performing. You get all those information, which company is growing, how they have been growing. So you get that kind of information under the platform, and this is just for the latest financial performance, how you're getting it. Now, if an industry, and we know that we are saying the industry is 5%, 10%, the income of the industry, is being estimated to grow by 5%, 10%, and how that company in that industry is being growing or not, to what particular percentage it has been growing. So we do monitor that, and we give you that benchmarking information under this report. And this report is simply in the percentage form, where you get to know that this is 3-year performance of SDFC, okay, and this is 3-year benchmark of banking industry, which says that in the year 2023 the benchmark says that 19% से industry क्या है, grow कर रही है, whereas SDFC Bank in 2023 is growing by 23% if we just compare the total income of that particular bank to the industry, how that is been performing. Okay, same you can compare it on any figures, and you can get the latest information on that. Now we do provide more other information, like on the daily basis we track companies and corporate sector, that with the latest data, which companies are there who are outperforming in that particular segment. Now for a student, those who are even interested in looking forward their career in stock market companies, broking firms, investments, or for their personal investment also, this is the area where we have brought in on the daily basis which are the companies which are top winners for the day, top losers for the day, high performing in 5 years, 3 years, and even we have calculated that Benjamin, the 7 step stock selection procedure, we have find out 39 companies which are outperforming in those particular indicators. Now that is where those finance students or those who are reading portfolio management, if you do certain project using it, you will get an edge over all those students who have not used certain kind of information related to it. So like this is coffee can portfolio. Again, we have find out 29 stocks, and these 29 stocks tells you that it says that the strategy involve a criteria which only consider companies that record revenue growth of 10% and return on capital employed of 15% each of the last years, 10 years eligible for buy and forget strategy. Now we have find out of all non-financial listed companies, and the complete summary has been given that how this strategy has been implemented, and progress has fetched these the 29 non-financial companies, and the data is also being presented over here, which will help you in understanding that this is where you can simply download that tabulation and do your project. Now standing today, you might be in a position that it may be relevant for you or not. You may have certain doubts, but believe me, I have seen those students who got placed when they are meeting the faculty members after alumni meet. The kind of stories they have shared that, in any consultancy firm, it's very important if you have that kind of confidence if you're entering into that industry. See, it's a prerequisite for any company when they're hiring any fresher or any experienced person. You know MS Office, that is one basic we have been knowing for so far. Whether they know about that industry or not, how you will get to know about that industry if you have explored certain information. If you are doing certain project, it will reflect in your resume. If you are doing certain project, you will have a confidence, you can throw certain numbers that you have analyzed 10 companies data, and this is what the result, the output you have got. Clear? So that is where progress will help you in doing certain project. And if let's say I'm a student who is from the marketing background, and I would be interested in understanding that whether the company, if I do a project on how the advertisement expenditure of the company over a period of a year has changed, okay, and whether that has an impact on the income of the companies or not. Nowadays we see a lot of advertisements surrounding, relating to new companies which we have never heard, and they are very attractive advertisement, and the packaging which we see. If I search certain companies and I compare on just their advertisement expenses, or even if I search any specific company, like say,
can you show an unlisted company like say Zepto or
Zepto, the basic thing of searching any company, sir, it's very important whether we cover that company or not, how we are covering it. And we have a basic criteria of covering any company is that if the company is disclosing their material facts, the simple is like profit and loss account, balance sheet and cash flow, we welcome that company to be a part of progress. Now when we are searching a company, it's not always like whether that company is registered by the same name or not. If that company is registered by same name like Zapto, you will find it. Like Amul, it's a corporation. If I find it by Amul, I will not find it. If I find it by a corporation name by which it has been established, I will find it. So in case of even, I would say Zapto is not the name which I am finding it over here. But let's say if I find any new age company, or even if I can get whether with the name, so there is Ola Electric Mobility Limited, okay, if I want to search Ola, or if I want to search like say Zomato Limited, and I want to check how Zomato Limited has performed just by seeing a graph to tell you that how this company has performed. So this is Zomato Limited. My internet connection is slightly slow, so it's taking some time. And if I want to compare the sales of the company with the line chart, how their sales of Zomato Limited is being there, and whether what is the cost structure. So if I compare what is the profitability and cost, and I want to compare it, and I say I want to compare it with the cost and line chart. So this is the revenue and cost structure. So this is the total sales graph in the green color, and this is the blue color graph which shows you the cost, the total expenses of the company, against Zomato. And the clear difference shows you that how much profit they have made in those particular years. But in the recent financial year in 2024, their expenditure is higher than what they have earned. Okay, so such kind of graphical presentation is easily available under the platform where you can compare any information. There is an advantage where, let's say, you want to check and you want to put your own conditions, like how many companies are there in a particular banking industry or in particular industry which is having a revenue of, let's say, 10,000 crore to 20,000 crore. Okay, you have a condition to find only MSME companies. You have a condition to find only unlisted companies and how those unlisted companies are performing in India and which are the top-notch unlisted companies. So we do have certain process. Like I want to find out, let's say, I want to find out a company from a particular industry, and that is a banking industry. Okay, I'm selecting a complete banking industry, let's say. Now, selecting a complete banking industry and then checking that whether those companies, you want only that data, that information, which satisfy your condition, you want only those companies' information. Now, there are hundreds of companies in the banking industry. Now, filtering those companies out of your specific condition of, let's say, your condition is you want to see those companies whose total income varies from, let's say, 10,000 crore to 20,000 crore, okay, and you also want to check at the same time the profit after tax. Their profit should be between 100 crores and above. Now, such customization is very easily available under the platform, and if I want to check that information, I can check it for any specific year and I can filter out those data. Let's first check the list of companies. So we have this banking list companies which is of 200 something banks, and then in financial statement, if I filter it out and I check whether which companies are there which satisfy to my condition of 10,000 to 20,000 crores revenue, total income, and profit should be more than 100 crores. Now, such kind of powerful tool will be available in such kind of platform where you can customize it. You do not need to invest your 90% of time in just finding out the data. Rather, you can invest more time in analyzing that information if you have. So we have that 250 companies, and I am filtering out only those companies which satisfy my condition. And I say where that list is. So that list is in progress, and I'll get that data. These are the 7 companies that have filtered out. Just 7 companies which satisfy my condition of total income is about 10,000. Okay, and for those companies there is also 100 crore above profit. So this is profit after tax. So we got this was in a minute or so we got that information. Now that is not just on the listed companies you can try, it's a combination of listed, unlisted, all the companies which are there in the sector. Now I'll not say all of you, the finance data would be relevant for you. There are certain information like some of you might be interested in CSR activities, employee related disclosure. If you analyze those reports and you want to check, let's say for these companies only, I select these companies, banking companies, okay? I want to further see their reports. I'll add all the selected companies to the report here. These are the 7 banks. I further want to analyze, let's say, Punjab and Singh Bank. Okay, I click on that company because this is the data which I found for 7 companies. I further want to analyze that information, and I say I want to extract certain reports. So I go to extract. I see Punjab and Singh Bank. How that company, these are the reports, annual reports, these are the source files, these are the director reports, auditors, and even employee remuneration information. So from the HR background, if you just analyze this particular report, although data is there, which I have extracted in a similar fashion, we could have extracted per 1,000 employee cost, or how many employees have been retained by the company and how many of them have been laid off. Let's say 10,000 employees are there today in the company, and in the next financial year it's happening 11,000, so it's the hiring. Okay, if it is 9,000, it means there has been slightly cut off, layoff which the companies have made. That might be, there might be a retirement also of the existing employees. You can check that by certain information like retirement benefits, those who have availed. So such indicators are there to help you understand employer related disclosure, and then you can crunch these numbers relating to employee remuneration, which will give you more understanding if you want to do certain project on. So like 2024, if I open this report, so this will be not generally we see our annual report, and we see that annual report is of 400 pages. Now you will not get to know that 400 pages, you are not going to crunch that information. But this kind of report, just 2-page report where you get director's name, their employee costing and details, committee and board, how much the expenses the company is making on the employees. That is just the 2 reports you are finding in 2-page reports. So these are all the directors, general managers. What is the the amount of salary which has been paid to CEOs? It's amount in rupees in lakhs, 42 lakh. Okay, the name of the directors and CEO has been written over here, and the complete detail on that particular financial year, which is there. Now, similarly, there is other information like corporate governance. So those who are interested in corporate governance area, they can explore corporate governance. Even the business responsibility, BRSI reports are available here, and the other details like certain rating agencies in India. So from the student point, I just want to know, have you heard about any rating agencies, credit rating company which is there in India, and you have known that company by name or so? CRISIL, okay. Anyone else? Okay, CRISIL is there is ICRA, India Rating, Modi, there are many agencies which do so. And they give you certain picture of the company, that whether the company has downgraded or upgraded, okay? On which criteria they are performing better, like SDFC, okay, or Axis Bank. We know they are in banking industry, but there are many industries where small companies, you may not know it by name that which industry they are falling in. Now what we do, every year we check their annual financials. We check that they have 5 business segments from where they are getting revenue. Now, one of the major segment, if they are getting more than 50% revenue from that business product, we name it as your main product. Sir, आपका main business तो यही है. If that is the main business, we categorize that company into a specific, we allocate that company into a specific industry, and that is a scientific way of doing that, mapping that company into a particular industry, and that we do every year. And that is where when you use Progress, even the company name is being changing. You miss out certain companies, so we have that way of tracking companies, we have that way of mapping companies, so everything is being systematically done, and that is what for last 40 years Progress is known for. So सबसे ज़्यादा education में Progress ही use किया जाता है, and Progress will really help any student, even, yes please.
So do they charge something for this, or is it free of cost?
Ma'am, it is for educational institution. We deploy that service to the institution, and then any user can use it throughout the year, and they can do whatever project they want to do.
Through the institutional ID?
Through the institute, no. You will be having a personal login ID and the password to access. Like I have logged into the platform, like it's an economic outlook, my login ID is there, Progress is there, I have used it, so my login ID is there. Any user from your institution, I'll be registering all of your IDs, faculty members, students. Even you can register by your own by visiting the website. But the access, we are just planning to deploy that service to your institution. If you feel so that this service can make a difference and you can do a lot more, in the classroom teaching, and also it can help really. So if we are going to deploy it, every user will be having their personal ID to access this service. It's a personalized access which we will be providing to you.
Okay, and the second thing is, the second question which I am asking, that do they charge for the data, providing the data, or is it free of cost?
So if the institution is having the service, so any user they will be having, for them it's the institution who is paying for that. Not the students of the campus who have to pay. It will be a IP access. IP access means institution is having it, and then any thousands or hundreds of users are having their IDs to access it. Anytime, any day, night, in campus, outside your campus. In case if you are utilizing that time in doing a project, that would be a great job. You can use Progress and utilize it.
And it will be the same for the economic data also.
So economic data is a different module. So we have discussed the Progress database, which gives the company level data. Now economic outlook is this module, sir, which gives you all the sectors update, like telling you about the growth expectation, how CMIE thinks that, what is the INR slips, fuel consumptions, OEM to passenger vehicle sales, even equity market. It says wheat income grows, it says central tax revenue loses momentum, passenger momentum, margin rise in large companies. Well, this article is also very relevant. Now, economic outlook is not just focusing on a company level information.
Macro.
It's overall picture how India is growing, how we see the India has been performing, and it also shows that what CMI has been doing for last 45 years, because it's the corporate sector overview, then you'll find other sectors overview, and for students, those who can first read a paragraph and understand that sector, I think that would be also a very relevant service which will jiggle well with the Progress database if they are used perfectly together. So we cannot see a corporate sector in isolation, because it's a kind of when you will be using and doing a research work, you may also need at the same time that how economy is being performing, whether that is correlating or not. So that data, this article, although we have published in Economic Outlook, now this article we have made a decile. So we have what we have done, Indian corporate sector, for all the corporate sector companies, we have grouped it into 10 sections. Okay, so decile means grouping that into a 10 section from highest performing companies to the lowest performing companies, and then we have analyzed it and we have given an update that we classify a company on the basis of size, and we have given a scale where we have averaged out the net sales and fixed asset, which tells you that in which scale that should be mapped. और उससे हमें ये पता लगा है कि जो लार्ज साइज कंपनीज है उनका मार्जिन, ऑपरेटिंग मार्जिन बहुत अच्छा है, उनका प्रॉफिट बहुत अच्छा है, दैट इज अराउंड 15% और सो. बट इफ यू सी मिड रेंज कंपनीज, उनका प्रॉफिट आपका 10% के आसपास की रेंज में जाता है, 8 to 10%. बट व्हेन वी कम डाउन टू द बॉटम ऑफ दैट डेसाइल, तो आपको ये दिखता है कि कंपनीज का 1-2% है, 2-3% है, उस रेंज में है, इवन देयर इज अ नेगेटिव साइड. So this is the complete article on that, and that is the data which is, the link is also being provided which you can access. So under Economic Outlook, it gives you a reference link, you can track all the data under the platform. It gives you a simplest written article which any layman can understand, and then this is a data tabulation at the same time. If you see decile or decile 10, this is the last year data, this is this year data, it is compiling and telling you that what is the growth. So it is 15%, 10%, 10, and it is even negative when the decile 10 comes. तो ये आपका आर्टिकल महीने में Economic Outlook में, it's like every sector. So if let's say yesterday the data got released, you will find the data under the platform yesterday. At the very latest, you will find the article CMI analyst will be writing on those topics. So it's a USP of economic outlook CMI.
Latest data is available.
Latest data, ma'am. On the, like budget data when it got released on the first. So on the same day, within half an hour, you got all those data under our platform. On the very next day, we have analyzed that. So if you go to analysis, if I say I want to see public finance, okay. Now public finance, it tells you that on 4th of, so see, budget 2025 shrink the deficit. Then very next day, it is capex allocation reflects, the payout taxation collection, constrained growth in government spending, even it says that conservative budget is there. So there are tens of articles where the budget reflection will be seen in different ways, how the government is focusing, where the government is focusing. They are looking for the long-term growth rather than the short 2025, how that is, they are expecting it. And even that data is there all in the backend. So this platform, the analysis is there on your screen. All these category wise, I'm just looking at the government expenditure and detail. You can track market news, you can track the complete time series data. The platform gives you 1950 onwards all the data under the platform. It gives you forecast how we see in the upcoming quarters and years the economy is going to grow, different sectors. And then we'll not leave you there. We also give you the documentation, and that documentation is a proof that the data is authentic. And you can anytime go to the backend and check that data. Even there is a support section where you can post your query, and you can, even if you don't know that where the data is, just you can go to our support section, or you can contact me. Like, I have an interest in consumer related information. Although I can search under the platform articles, data on consumers, I can find out. But even if there is a specific requirement, I can get into the data section. I could ask data available under economic outlook. I can message it over here. The backend team, I simply need to post it. After posting, suitable link if that data is there, and with the clarification that how we can use it.
So we can download it in, say, Excel format or something.
Yes, sir. So the like this is if I go to home page, and let's say I want to see a consumer sentiment information, okay? And there are multiple sources, so we track all those sources. Like if I go to statistics, and I see consumer sentiment over here, and I want to check by occupation group wise how the consumer sentiment is there. Okay, so this is occupation group wise. I want to see it by index number. I click on index number, and the data is there on your screen. I want to download, with a click of button the data is there. Okay. Now the very interesting graph over here would be like you can do and you can play with the numbers like क्या कोविड का impact consumer के sentiments पे पड़ा नहीं?
Exactly. What I just need to ask this: if our research or our domain area is related to something specific, like earlier you shown banking industry. So if we want to analyze something related to consumer behavior or consumer satisfaction, so that kind of data we can access.
Then the wholesome solution is economic outlook.
Okay.
Which gives you not just a company level information, but at the aggregate level, the corporate sector, not the company to company wise, you will find the economic outlook,
okay, overall.
But overall, and then you can use the data under this platform only. You get consumer sentiment. Like I want to check, like this is ma'am, I want to check, let's say over salaried employee, how their sentiment has changed. This is the graph. Can you see the downfall when the COVID has hit? This is March 2020. And our survey, this is a proprietary survey which we have done in all over India. The survey got started by CMIE in 2014. And a year, 3 times we do that survey. Even the source tells you that the source is also being available over here. It says consumer pyramid household survey. The survey is being done and this data is being provided. Now I want to compare that with the farmers. Let's say कि मुझे salaried employee का मुझे farmer से compare करके देखना है whether their sentiment is stronger or farmer sentiment, or or the salaried person like us are feeling more confident about the economy and the growth which is happening.
Comparative.
So ये comparative आप कर सकते हैं, और यहाँ पर आपके पास tools भी हैं, simple moving average, linear trend line, you can draw it, and even you can remove the outlier period. We do have that options. So like you want to say that I want to remove COVID duration. I just want to see without COVID what would have been the trend. If I ignore the first wave or second wave or both the waves, let's say. So you have that option. Outlier tools is there, but this trend shows you that red line is the farmers' consumer sentiment, and this is again the salaried employee. But we see that farmer is always better than the salaried employee. It's very stronger than that. So आपके पास ये चीजें trend line, it is there. There is a simple moving trend line. These all options are there. Even you can download this graph. And if a student use it for the project work, this is where they can, attach it in the attachment and mention more details about that. So data is there, analysis, and I was talking about, the section where this article, because this is the data which we are playing with, but there are a lot of articles which has been written on consumer sentiment. So if I go specific to consumer sentiment section, this is where it says decline in urban consumer sentiment, weak urban sentiment amid income tax. This is upstick in consumer sentiment, dip in consumer sentiment. All these articles are written. And if you read article, you do not need to go to statistics. There is all that data and links. So if you click on link, it will take you to the data section where you get the time series data. How we are seeing that.
And sir, what all HR variables are covered except from hiring? What kind of data we can find related to HR?
Ma'am, HR, I would say the HR section for them, wages related information, labor market would be relevant. Even corporate sector, I would say corporate sector, if we see compensation to employees, such kind of details would be relevant. Indian economy, employment, unemployment, labor participation, that kind of project if they do. So this is the area, ma'am, statistics. And if I explore employment and wages, now we know there are CFO or Manrega, but we provide simple that solution where CMI survey से भी आपके पास data आता है, okay, proprietary to CMI. On the every 4 months we do that survey, so it's a fast frequency data. Then you are getting NSSO survey data, you are getting labor bureau data, you are getting Naukri index data, you are getting employment data, you are getting Manrega data, you are getting even other information relating to wages. Now these are the main headings. We are just seeing one section CPHS. This is the major only related to the CPHS. Now I want to see like city by city how index is moving, and we do have industry wise, we do have functional area wise, city wise. If I track city wise, this is the percentage change, and I want to see a percentage change year on year. This is how it's for the Delhi NCR, Bangalore, Mumbai, Chennai, Ahmedabad, and that's all. This is monthly frequency data. So platform gives access of around economic outlook, access of over 9 lakh unique indicator. But if you overall cover it from 1950 onwards, it's 3.6 million times these data which you find under the platform. Now, this promise do not provide that customization where if you are, let's say, if you are from the marketing or HR and you want that, I don't want to go every time on the economic outlook and I don't want to check where the data is. You should get a notification on your phone or in your email. So that facility we do have. So even if you find this data relevant, you can mark it as a mail alert. So I have marked it as an email alert set for the report. You will get whenever the data on monthly frequency get released with the link. And even I save it to my favorite section, which will allow me to directly from the home page, there is a favorite where data alert has been set. And I have Naukri job seek monthly data which has been marked. So anytime I click under the favorite section, I am getting to the tabulation because there are around 50,000 tabulations. So you will not lost when you need certain perfect information which you are on the regular basis you are checking that. And certainly second area is under the favorite is the data analysis alert. So like you have data, now you also want to know analysis which CMI is releasing on employment, unemployment, and the market news which CMI has been capturing from all news providing agency. So I'll scroll and I would be interested in marking that alert set on employment and wages, that is tied in with the market news, analysis is the CMI analysis. So आपके पास ये भी आ जाएगा. ऐसे ही finance के student हैं, so they would be interested in money and banking. I'll select that. If I am from marketing background, I would be interested in consumer sentiment, I would be interested in industry performance, I would select that. I would select more capital market or relating to that. I'll get that kind of information on a fingertip wherever you get that information. So this customization is there in economic outlook. In Progress, it's very granular, very granular, but focusing just on the corporate sector performance, that is company level information. And it even allows you to plan your project. Let's say you are going to submit your project in next month or next to next month, or you have a research paper which have a deadline of, let's say, after in a year 2025 you are going to submit that, whatever it is. So it could be a possibility for you when even you are setting alert and you also want to track that daily basis what kind of information is getting released. So there is a calendar which tells you under here, so it's a release calendar. Now it says that in March 2025 these are the data points on which the major heading shows you that these are the area where the data is getting released on which particular date. So we are not finished with March. So but it's still, if you go to 2026, the year which will be there, or you go to 2025, let's say December or March or June, July, August, November, like that. So I pick August, okay, and I click on go. It shows you the complete month, how August 2025, what kind of data will get released. And if I do it more, I'll get the exact date when the data will, and time when the data will get added. Even if I click FDI, this shows you how January, February month data. It says that 17th or 19th ko this has been added in 2025. We are in March, so it will get added, and these all are in the red when which data will get added related to that. So it's a pre-planned. You just need to invest 5 minutes of your time in just setting that up, and everything will be there. You can invest a lot of time in just meaningful research.
This shows FDI and FFI related data when it was available. And if I actually want to see that data,
then you can directly move into that particular section where FDI data will be available.
Okay, and I can download it also, like in a Excel format if I want to carry out my own analysis.
Obviously, sir. So this FDI data 2025, if we go to this data section, so from statistics, and it is there. I say I want to see FDI, so external sector data, and external it says foreign investment, and under foreign investment we have that whether you want FDI by sector wise, by country wise, by even outward or inward. So it's outflow and inflow, both the FDI we are tracking. So if you say country and sector wise in US dollars or Indian rupees, absolute value, percentage change, cumulative figures, everything is there. So I say absolute value in dollar by country and country with sector, what is the FDI inflow. So that kind of granularity, sir, this platform will bring, and but I believe personally that the combination of both the product is where, because certainly, but if you ask me one, I would say economic outlook is the area where all of you can, user can smartly customize the platform. But Progress is more oriented toward those who are working on corporate social responsibilities, governance, company level performance, competition monitoring. Even for the students when they are preparing for their project work, they can use it at comparative analysis they can do. So that is where both the platforms will be very relevant for them.
Do you also have data related to commodities and derivatives?
So commodities is there. So commodity prices on the daily basis we track. That is the we do have a different module for that. But if you ask me, inflation, under inflation detail, we have a commodity prices and commodity. This is CPI, WPI, and then we have commodity prices. Commodity prices. There are all these wholesale retail prices of the product which is there. But it's on the, like, I want to see team annual, quarterly, monthly and weekly. I have those numbers. I want to see pulses. I have that annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly and daily commodity prices. I want to see export, import, production details. I do have that information. That I need to go to a specific industry. Like in an industry, I would like to see selective industry, how their production and sales is there. So although there is a steel, sugar, tea industry, I will get their information. I want to see passenger vehicle production sales. I can see passenger vehicle production sales on the quarterly or monthly basis. So if I click on that, I have this information which is readily available. This is the micro, passenger car, medium, vans and all these category wise it is there. And then there is finally the projection area where you get forecast. So I want to see a projection relating to, let's say, same industry, infrastructure or industry. So industry level also you have that kind of, like, I want to see on the quarter-on-quarter basis what is the short-term, medium-term projection which we are having. This is the commercial vehicle, heavy commercial vehicle, all these category wise, these are the projection in the red color, how we are projecting. This is the actual data. And this is the area where you get all the news from the markets which has been clubbed, that on the daily basis what are the newses are there, and everything is being backed by the authentic data which we are sourcing, and even CMI proprietary data which is there. So, but if you feel that this platform should be there in your institution, you can absolutely, your feedback will matter a lot, and we'll be there to train students, faculty members, how they can better utilize it in the classroom teaching, research work, and for the student, obviously, you know, what kind of things which will be there, which will help them in the placement and in their careers. So that will be there. So is there any query from any students or faculty member? The platform is there. I'll be, you know, addressing that. Hello. So क्या students को लगता है आपके लिए important है ये चीजें देखना? Do you feel that?
Yes, sir.
किस चीज से related आपको information अच्छी लगी? What do you feel that? क्या चीजें ठीक था? क्या चीजें आपके लिए?
The entire compilation which I have been done, which is usually difficult to find through Google searches and everything. So for that